Hey, it's Trudy at Henna Happiness, and I'm finally able to sit down for a minute and make a new video for our upcoming month of October. Now, I know you might have been like, oh, this was a really crazy time. Where have you been, Trudy? Our last video wasn't since July. And I have to agree that July was like, the last time I had a chance, I think, to do anything. So I've been so busy taking care of the store here and all my responsibilities, plus all the energy. I have a Libra rising, so my rising sign, my moon, and a lot of my energy was affected by that Venus retrograde activity I talked about. So not only do I make these posts because I'm trying to be an astrologer and let you know what information I can share with you what's going on. Reason I got involved with all this because this is something that interested me, and this is something that fascinated me, how this stuff somehow applied and worked and helped me manage what was going on in the world and in my life. Helped me to manage it and understand it, and then take it a little more easy and even be ready for it. And then anyway, so this is why I'm bringing it to you, because I check it out for myself and then I can share it with you. Ultimately, I am hoping that you all come in for a reading and we can apply this to your chart. Now, also we have Astrology by Trudy on Facebook. So if you follow this video, definitely follow our Facebook page, because I get the more, I can bleep out some information every now and then on Facebook that I can't make it in a video. Now, I have a big preparation here for you, and the month is going to be a lot easier once we get through this Mercury retrograde stuff that we're in. So let's start with just understanding that our friend Saturn, he's got the most boring planet this month. He's just doing his thing. He's direct, and he's in Scorpio, and he's going to be in Scorpio from like 9 to 10 degrees in Scorpio. In Anuradha, which is the great friend of planetary nakshatras. So he's still hanging in there and loyal, and he's in a more benevolent area of the Scorpio constellation. Still affecting us with Saturnine things. You have commitment, responsibilities, lessons. And if you have planets in this 9 to 10 degree point of sidereal Scorpio, and he's bringing you pressures so that you can grow. Then we have the next planets that I'd like to talk about is the Sun and Mercury, and of course our friends the eclipse point. Now the eclipse point, we all know we just had 2 eclipses. We had a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Every year we get a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse cycle that happens twice a year. So this is nothing new. That we got here in the Northeast where I live to see the eclipse, and it was a blood moon. It was at a certain angle. This is that was like a special treat, but you're actually not supposed to go out in the eclipse. You're supposed to close your windows and doors. Don't expose yourself to that energy. It's not really the best light to be into. Now, if you were in the eclipse and you were viewing it, the next night it was so crispy clear here with the clear white energy of the moon that you really see the difference between a ruddy eclipse and then a brilliant, beautiful full moon. So that is just one little thing that I've even learned in all this experience. So Sun, Mercury, and Rahu are our 3 big players for the next couple days. Now, I know we have like a hurricane warning coming up the coast, and this is something I'd like to address, is that we're going to have a lot of anxiety around this. Right now the moon is in Taurus, so we're playing it cool. The moon in Taurus is stable. It's a good spot for the moon. We're not going into anxiety too much yet, because the moon, I feel right now, it's a stable moon. But when the moon comes into I feel like maybe when it gets itself into Gemini, which is 10-3 to 10-5, we're going to get a little more stirred up, and we're going to start taking more action to like what we're doing with this hurricane. And I'm talking from a New York perspective, so I know there's a whole coast of people that are going to be feeling this. And then the whole time this is coming in, you know, then by 10:5 to 10:7, we have the moon in Cancer. And the moon in Cancer it's at home in its own sign. So though you're really sensitive when the moon's in Cancer, it's a good moon sign. So I feel like you know, hurricanes and these storms can get affected by weak planets. And so these planets aren't weak right now. We have, everything is Saturn, Jupiter is direct. Mercury retrograde, though, right before a storm coming in, is a little screwy. So it's also with the eclipse point. So Mercury is in Virgo, where it's very strong. So that's a plus. Again, we have a retrograde planet, but it's a strong retrograde. And so that's going to give us a boost. And then it is going over the eclipse point, which that's going to give us anxiety, fears, and you know, we're going to be thinking back over old storms and old experiences, because Mercury retrograde also is really big on Throwback Thursday, you know, because we're going to go back into and rethink and remember. We're going to know what to do better because we're going to have this experience from Sandy about how to handle a storm. And so we're going to be having a lot of flashbacks, and a lot of anxiety could be coming through with all this. So from 10:4 to 10:10, Mercury is going to be retrograding over the eclipse point, causing a lot of stress. That's going to be mostly in your brain, okay? And then Mercury will go direct, okay, right? It's going to back right into Rahu, and Rahu's going backwards, Mercury's going backwards, and then Mercury goes direct. And as Rahu continues its backwards trail, Mercury will go away from Rahu. So that worry and that fear and all that anxiety will start, and things actually will also start clearing and getting more into place. So that's 10:10 on, okay? But that 10:10 is like the turning point. So you got to give it a little time till it moves on. Now, after 10:10, you know, things will hopefully will be lighter for everybody. And this is like the couple things overlapping in 10:10 here that I've written up. Now we have the moon goes into Leo 10:8 to 10:10. All right, here we are. All right, this is right when the Mercury retrograde is about to go direct. We're getting a nice, warm, sunny Leo moon, and he's going to be hanging out with Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. So I feel like the moon is going to elevate our spirits, you know, after the 8th. And there would be a lot of teamwork, and people would be coming together to help each other in this time. And it will be a very friendly, enjoyable time. Okay? And then what we get is these three together. Again, this is very key. Jupiter, Mars, and Venus together for the whole month of October. So we're going to talk about that in 1 minute. That's our little special treat of, you know, Leo energy tends to be fun, and people want to enjoy themselves. They want pleasures. They want good times. It's power still. It's like people that are in power. There could be power struggles with authority figures. Government things will be, you know, in the news. But basically, Leo is an enjoyable. People want to have the pleasures of romance, fun, creativity, children, get involved. You know, it's an adventure sign where people get really misconstrued because of Cancer and Leo. So if you think you're a sidereal Leo, you're probably a Cancer. And that's not what a Leo is. Leo is ruled by the sun. And it's a little bit different flavored than the Cancer moon energy. But this month, we are not, our birth signs are Virgo. The sun is in Virgo, and then it's going to be going into Libra by the 18th. So this is a big difference between Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Joaquin, is that Hurricane Sandy actually had a debilitated Virgo. Debilitated Venus was in Virgo. Debilitated Sun was in Libra. You see? And you start to look at some of these things that went on. You see debilitated planets can sometimes bring weaknesses, and where these kind of terrible tragedies can just get worse. So Sun goes into Libra on 10/18, and the Sun is debilitated in Libra. It's when it's taking its southern trail, so it's not as strong. in Libra is about relationships. The sun should be about itself and its own ego. You know, like who I am. This is me. And so in Libra, it's about what do you do? I want to share with you. So it's not so much about you. You diffuse yourself with the other person. And so that's why the sun in Libra people, which is generally 10/18 to approximately November like 15th, 14th, these people have their sun in Libra. They're not Scorpios. They have their sun in Libra. They're relationship people, and they're always looking to relationships for fulfillment. Now, let's go back to 10/10. All right, so after Mercury's going to go direct about then, and the sun's going to be leaving Libra. Leaving Leo. The moon is going to be leaving Leo. And then around the 10th, right? And then what we're going to have is once a month we've been having this sort of difficult transit. So from 10/11 to 10/18, this is when the moon goes through this challenging sort of 10/11 will have anxiety because the moon is going to be with Mercury and the moon is going to be with Rahu. So we're going to have anxiety and unclear thinking around 10/11. And then that's why, even though the planet's going direct, it should be good news, it still has to clear up through this as well. So this is kind of like why, you might have a party. Yeah, Jupiter's in Leo, woo! But then it's also being squared by Saturn, okay? So that Saturn square at a certain degree in Leo, like right now, 10 degrees Leo is being squared by 10 degrees Saturn in Scorpio. So it's sort of still under some tension. Now, that's why there's never like really, the block is never really clear. There's always something to deal with. As we get into this though, 10/16 is when the moon is actually riding alongside you'll see Saturn and the moon in the sky if it's clear that night. So this is the most challenging aspects of the month. And the moon is debilitated in Saturn in this Scorpio sign. And the moon is debilitated in the Scorpio, and it's with its enemy of Saturn. So uncomfortable energy. And it clears up as this moon leaves the sun in the sign of Scorpio, so it goes into Sagittarius. So when you wake up on 10/18, whatever it was that was getting to you, it should clear up, and then people get a more upbeat energy. It will return. Try it as an experiment with these dates, the 16th, the 17th, and then boom, the 18th. See if not it feels sunnier and lighter, because this is some heavy energy for the moon. Okay, so we talked about, I think, everything. And all my little cards are done. That's it in a nutshell, and I hope that you comprehended this. November will bring us different energy because Mars and Venus will go into Virgo, and Venus becomes debilitated until just after Thanksgiving. See you next time here at Henna Happiness.